Hi guys, welcome back to Chop's Garage, and today we have the BCA Renault Clio. Now, we got this car about a week ago in a bulk buy from BCA. You saw it come in on the transporter in an earlier video, but we never got a chance to have a walk around with it because as soon as it came in, we noted that the front spring was completely broken, so we weren't able to test drive it. It was right down on the front wheel there. So we weren't able to test drive the car or have a proper look around it, so we don't really know, other than the spring, what the problems were with the vehicle. Being an auction car, we know there's going to be some. So as I said, we bought this from British Car Auctions, sight unseen other than the report online, which was a basic report. It wasn't the assured, it would just tell us that the lights worked and the indicators worked and the engine started, nothing else. Probably overpaid for it, can't remember exactly what. In the current market, I feel like you're overpaying for everything. But it's the 1.2 petrol. I don't have a lot of small cars at the moment, and a lot of people are downsizing, wanting small runabouts. It's a 5-door, so it'll appeal to both sides of the market, the first-time driver and the family runabout market. So that's one of the reasons I bid on this one. Being a slightly better spec with the alloys and the metallic paint as well, I thought it was a better bet. Metallics do sell quicker than the flat-coloured cars. It's a nice-looking car. It's the iMusic, which I think, I don't know Renault's very well, just probably means you can connect your iPhone into the sound system knowing the way it works. So let's have a little look at the bodywork and see how much paint work we're going to have to do first, and then we'll take it for a little spin, see what we think. Obviously the spring has now been done because we dropped the car straight down to Moores in South Molton, and I had him do the spring, and I said, look, just put it through the MOT afterwards as well, might as well get that done. So we'll go through what we had to do for the MOT as well. But looking at the bodywork wise, really clean. No marks on the corner of the bumper here at all. That's mint. Over here is really clean, no major stone chipping, anything like that. Bottom of the bumpers, good. Little scuff there. How much that'll polish out, I'm not sure, but pretty minor. Might be nice to do that bit because the rest of the bumpers is fantastic. Alloy wheels good, no curbing. Wings good, no damage there. Very light scratch. I think some of that'll polish out. Yeah, it's only in the lacquer that'll polish out. Some light scratching across the top here. Again, that'll polish out. It's looking actually really clean. It's looking really clean. Little minor mark down there. Oh, we've got a little bit up here. So definitely worth getting some paint because we've got to touch a few areas in. That alloy is good as well. No curbing it out, so I'm not going to paint the alloys looking at it so far. Back corner of the bumper again is really good. Normally you've got scuffed bumpers when you get to this age because we are 2010. It's all good here. Little scuff there. Again, if I get a little bit of paint, I'll do a touch up there. This alloy's in good nick. Now obviously this has got tyre fitting grease on it because we've had a tyre put on for the MOT. Phil said it was road legal, he said, but it was getting very close, so he decided to swap it out. So yeah, overall these doors are good. Overall bodywork condition wise, it's actually really quite good. So look inside. Gym bag's mine because I intend on driving. Well, it's not a gym bag, is it? It's a supermarket bag just full of all the various belts I have to wear. Because I do intend on driving it home tonight, getting a good long run on it and making sure I'm 100% happy. So looking at the inside of the car, steering wheel's good. Not too much wear there. Gear lever's good, not too much wear there. Same thing with the handbrake, that's good, but the stereo's suffered with peeling on it. Now I can't get the lettering, but I can recolour these in black again with some plaster dip just to tidy it up. Luckily I did note that there's stereo controls for source, mode, volume all here, which are all in good condition, so actually you can do it from there anyway. All the rest of the buttons are in good nick. There's no wear on those, they're all in good condition. The plastics are good, there's no scuffing on the plastics. Normally with these sort of aged cars you do get quite a lot of scuffing on the plastics, but they're actually really good. So that's looking good. Seats have some dirt on them, but the bolsters are perfect. No rips or tears. I know it drives me mad people when I say no rips or tears. No burn holes or tears. And that's it, again, just needs a good clean, but it's actually in really good condition. So in the back here we've got the paperwork, and we seem to have an extra headrest. I don't know what it's out. Pop it back in again. Oh, that's probably why. You can see the headliner's got some dirt on it, so they've probably been loading stuff into it. I can't do that one-handed. I think I need to put the seat forward a bit to do it, so I'll do that a bit later on. So the headliner needs a good clean. Carpets are actually in really good nick. They've just got some dirt in them, so they'll come up all right. And these rear seats again, No burns or tears on those at all. Oh, I don't know what that is. Oh, it's where someone's lent something on the back of it that's gone in again. So again, just a good clean. Two former keepers, so low keepers for the age of the vehicle. Yeah, one of the services in the Renaults, it did fool me for a while, but the services they put in the back of the Renaults, so we should be able to see where we are with service history of this one. So 2012, 2014, 2015 had a cam belt done at 40, sorry, what's that, 35,000 miles? No, 4,500 miles. 4,500 miles had a cam belt done. This is very early for a cam belt, but I guess it was 5 years old. Nothing after that showing. So Bristol Street Motors is the last one. Might be worth them ringing around to find out what the score is, see if we can find any more service history. Oh, actually looking here, it does look like we've got a load of paperwork, so I'll have to check through that and see what the score is with that. We've got a second key, so 2 keys, and we've got all the handbooks. There's one there for a Parrot Bluetooth, but that isn't in the car. Then we've got the rest of the handbooks there, and the lock and wheel nut kit. MOT, it did have an advisory for a tyre close to legal limit. That's one is changed, so that is, it's actually advisory free now because that tyre's been done. He has written that and signed it for me as well, so ideal. So we've got an advisory, brand new advisory free MOT on it. The mileage is only 53,000 miles, guys, so very low miles for the age. That was one of the other things that appealed to me with this one. Only 53,000 miles, and you can see that from the condition of the vehicle. Low ownership, low miles. You know, those are key things that people in the market like to look for. In the boot, what have we got in here? A breakdown triangle, some mats, and a strange little spare kit of some kind. Don't know what that's all about. Let's have a look under the engine bay. I think that's closed. So looking around here, coolant is above minimum, not quite up to max, but it's the right Renault colour. Got a bit of oil around the filler cap here. We'll check the oil in a second, but it does sit in that rubber, so that's probably what that's all about. A lot of cobwebs and stuff. Sounds it might have been sitting for a little bit. So look down here. No major leaks from the gearbox by the looks of it. Anything like that. So have a look at the oil. The oil's at the right level. Just wipe it off and double check it. Yeah, oil's at the right level after a clean off. So it's been kept to the right level with the oil. Little so it almost looks chain driven to me, but obviously it's belt based on what it says on that invoice. I thought the 1.2s were chain driven, but perhaps that's the later ones. Right, let's go for a spin. So it starts up on the button, says oil level correct, which we know already. No warning lights on the dash, other than the fact I've got the handbrake on. Engine sounds okay. Let's go for a little spin. Now, some of you had a spoiler alert in previous videos and know that when Phil did this spring and then went to test drive the car for me, he said that the gearbox felt really notchy and quite hard to get into gear. And we did think we might have to put a clutch or a gearbox in it, but Phil actually said, trust me, I'll do the gearbox oil, it might well improve it, and which he did, and it has. So I'm having no troubles getting into gear at all. It is going into gear lovely. It does have that traditional Renault Dacia, because obviously this is exactly the same gear lever when you go into Dacias, slight notchiness in the actual mechanism here within inside the car, where the bushings are. Again, nothing outrageous at all, but once you've driven loads of these, you'll find it's the case. You get a slight bit of notchiness there. Initially I thought there was a problem when I went to try and go and fix it on cars, but now having had so many I realise they're all like it. So again, like I say, no warning lights, 53,000 miles, 547, so mega low miles. Initial feelings, no knocks and bangs from the suspension. Obviously we've just done that spring. I didn't have any advisories or anything like that. Steers straight, it's nice, always a bonus. Steering feels good, it's nice and direct, no sloppiness there. Brakes, good, brakes are good, stopping nicely. Get it out on the road and go for a little bit more of a burn. So we got the 1.2 in what is a fairly big car. I mean, obviously I do the 1.2 Hyundai i10s, those kind of things, but I think they're a bit lighter than these, quite a bit lighter than these. This has only got the 1.2 in a bigger 5-door car, so I'm not expecting it to be particularly nippy. But we're up into 5th already, up to 50 mile an hour. There certainly doesn't feel like any urgency in the power plant, but like I say, what do you expect is a 1.2. So why was it Part X? Why was it binned off? Well, possibly they were struggling to get into gear and thought they needed a new gearbox. Could well have been done. Phil thinks it had the wrong gearbox oil in it from what he saw coming out of it. It could be when the spring broke on the front suspension, it was just, you know, straw that broke the camel's back, and they just worried they were going to put too much money into it. Knowing that an MOT was coming up in a few months' time as well, they decided they were better off just binning the car off and getting into something new. Because obviously it was part exchange with the broken spring on it, and as Phil said it was horrible getting it into gear. Presumably if it had the wrong oil, it was too much pressure when you were trying to get into the gears. Now he's put the right oil in, it's now smooth. He did change the clutch fluid as well. He did that first, thinking that might improve it, because he said the clutch fluid was quite brown, so he did that. But yeah, now we seem to have a nice little car. So we've got a nice looking little car with low mileage that seems to drive nicely. It'd be a great, perfect first car for someone, or like I say, family runabout or commuter. I don't think we need to really go any further. I'm just going to get it up to full temperature and just check that the temperature stays where it should as well. So we've been up to temp for a while now. It's maintaining its temperature fine, no problems with that. Bloody pheasants. Oh my word, I must have nearly hit about 100 pheasants on the way into work today. It's crazy, they're everywhere. Stupidest birds in the world. Right, let's go up to speed a bit more. We'll get up to the national speed limit. So 5th gear, 60 mile an hour at 3,000 revs. Seems happy enough. Not the quietest thing in the world, obviously. See what the steering feels like. Trouble is, I've come into work in a Suzuki Swift Sport with decent rubber, so if we start doing comparisons, there is going to be no comparison. But it handles itself tidily. There's certainly nothing in the suspension at all, or the brakes, that worries me. I think with the MOT and the bits that Bob's Phil did on it, I think we're just under a couple £100 into the car. Most of that being sort of 50 quid for a tyre, 40 quid for an MOT. So I think we're under a couple £100 for the work on it so far. Bit of paint, we should be able to stay within, you know, with the warranty on top, within about £400 in prep costs on it. So even a car like this, oh, of course the spring, that's why it was a couple £100, it was the spring as well. I think they might need to do the top mount, I can't remember. Did the top mount as well, that's me telling me it's low on fuel. So yeah, I think we're a couple £100 in with the spring, top mount, MOT, tyre. Then we'll be in sort of 30 quid in paint by the time we bought lacquer and colour. Then the warranty will be 100 quid. So we're going to be in the region of £400 in costs getting this ready, and even on a car like this that actually doesn't seem to have, touch wood, a lot wrong with it. We still need to obviously get it back, give it a really good clean. Once we've given it a really good clean, we'll photograph it, because the bits of paintwork won't be obvious in the pictures. They're not that, not that obvious. And I can have it marketed while I get those bits done. And yeah, like I say, just give it really good clean. Give it a service, do oil and filter on it, because and then we can stamp the book with a recent service on it. And yeah, I mean, it'll be nice to go alongside the Polo I've just come into stock, which we'll do a video on, and the Hyundai i10 I've got, and then I'll have 3 cars, sub 4K, 5-door, 1.2 engines, you know, low road tax, low insurance. I don't know how low this is road tax, I don't think it's particularly low actually. But yeah, it'll be a good choice for people looking for the small runabout type cars or first time cars. A nice mix in amongst the more expensive stuff I've got in at the moment, the small 4x4 type stuff. There's a sort of 6-7 grand mark. So yeah, let's get it back, get it cleaned up, get it photographed. Do we count this as an auction win? Well, like I say, even this with minor issues, it still, you know, still costs like 300 quid to get it ready. So again, to the all dealers do is wash it and stick it at a front brigade. Yeah, you can obviously jog on that front. But in terms of auction buys, it's one of the, again, I'll touch wood while I say it, lower cost repairs that we've had to do on any of them. So let's get back in the lineup for the moment, because we're not quite ready to wash it yet. We've got a couple of other things to do. We've got the Polo over there to get onto. But yeah, overall, seems like a good little car. Like I say, good spec, low mileage, low ownership. Should be a good little seller.